Hello Internet, I'm Stephanie back with another video. So today I would like to talk a little bit more about projections. It seemed like there was some interest in that topic in one of my earlier videos. So today what I would like to talk about is how do we deal with the projections of us that other people may have. And before I get into this topic, I feel like I need to take a bunch of side tangents. This is going to be a bit of a harder video to follow probably because I just feel like I have so many things to say and just trying to kind of condense them all and cram them in to make this coherent. I'm feeling really challenged by this, but we're going to do what we can today. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the idea of myself for me and yourself for you, we being the main characters in our own life. Now, I know that we hear this main character energy being used a lot, and sometimes in a good way, like look at them go, they're rocking their life, or sometimes it can kind of come across negative, like, egotistical, like who do you think you are that you're so important that you're bringing this main character energy. So the idea of what it means to be the main character comes to us from the way that we tell stories. I have a background in literature, English and children's literature, and sort of talking about how the idea that we have of ourselves and our children and our society affects the way that we construct and tell stories, and those stories in turn kind of shape back the way that children's psyche kind of develops as they grow and the way that they see themselves. And again, huge topics to be kind of glossed over here. But historically, a lot of the stories that we have been raised on, even for the last few hundred years, kind of follow this pattern of the hero's journey. You see this in the epics like the Iliad and Harry Potter even, and this is basically this idea that there's one character, the main character, and they're the hero, right? The story, the whole world of the story revolves around them specifically, and they usually have this great burden or this great responsibility to save the world in some way, right? Historical examples could be, Achilles, Hercules, these types of names where it's someone who's so chosen and so special, right? And usually along the hero's journey, they're coming up against adversaries. Maybe they have to slay the dragon. Maybe they have to, defeat he who must not be named and this type of thing, right? Maybe they have to destroy this ring and, the bad guy is going to see them and catch them, right? And it's this idea that if you are the main character, if you're the hero in the story, you're probably going to have a pretty difficult life. You're going to be facing a lot of these challenges. And it makes people a little hesitant to say or to want to believe that they are the hero, or, they find themselves comparing themselves. I can never live up to the hero's mantle that I've seen from these other heroic characters. And the problem is that this basically, for those who don't want to be a hero, right, this can make it feel as though you're less willing to participate in your life as a story, or less willing to see yourself as the main character in the story of your life, because it has these kind of negative connotations. I don't want to have to be fighting monsters. I just want to be kind of left alone, right? So this is why I think that the study of tarot can be really interesting, because it takes a different model for its storytelling. It's not the hero's journey, it's the fool's journey. And this is a huge difference. And this doesn't mean that you're foolish or anything like that. It just, it tells the story from the perspective of learning as opposed to battling, right? So the fool is the character who kind of goes on this journey and interacts with other characters who end up being wise teachers, and they learn lessons from these interactions, and not all of them feel like facing a monster, right? So when you see yourself as a fool in life, a student, someone who is here to learn about yourself, learn about the world, right? When you're approaching your life from that perspective of childlike innocence, the wonder of discovery, and all of these more positive feelings that you might associate with, the fool character, what ends up happening is it becomes a lot more fun to play the main character in your life, because you're not fearing these life and death moments, or these make or break for the whole world or for the whole universe, resting on your shoulders type of thing. So when you admit to yourself that you are the main character, again, this doesn't mean that you are the main character of the whole universe, right? But you are the main character in your own life, which means you're the only person who is living here, looking out, right? You're the only person who's with you every minute to see what was I thinking and feeling, and what was I doing in those times when no one else was around, right? This is the God consciousness, or the God presence, right? This is the universe seeing itself through your eyes. And again, huge topics, which I'm sure I'll come back to. But in my life, it's about me. Now, that's true of every person. In your life, it's about you, and in his life, it's about him. And so in a sense, this can create, or this does have the effect of creating all of these mini universes of storytelling that all originate back to each individual person. So when we're talking about projections, right, these are all based of my personal experiences with everything else in my life. And this is what forms the way that I view the world, right? So this is true of everyone. Everyone has their own little mini universe. And to sort of connect this with ourselves now, and to realize that other people in their universes have versions of us, this makes it a lot more interesting to play the game, basically. So how can I break this down? So if I'm the main character in my own life, that means everyone else in my life is not the main character, but they could be maybe supporting cast. Like, think of it in terms of literally casting a movie or a play. So there's me, and then there's my husband character, and then there's my child character, right? And these are filled by people in my life, and they are very important to me, but I'm still the main character for this story. These are just those the co-stars, right? And then if you work out from there, you have the occasional actors, maybe your friends and people you see at work and things like this. They play a role in your life as well, but they are not as close to being the main character as you, right? And as you sort of spread out from there, this is where it comes to the terminology talking about NPCs and extras. My kid is hollering. I can't focus. I'm going to have to split this into lots of little ones. So I'll pick up from that spot, talking about NPCs and extras and how they overlay with myself as being the center of my own universe to my own self, and working towards how we can navigate, or what we should do about projections other people have of us in their universes.